putting my fears on ice. A message from the angels. Channeled by Ann Albers. April 9, 2019. Hi dear friends. The angels talk about how our minds are our tools to use the gift of free will, and I'll share how I recently went past a big fear, and how you can go beyond limiting programs too. Love you all. Ann. Message from the angels. My dear friends, we love you so very much. Your minds are so much more powerful than you could ever imagine. It is with your mind that you get to exercise one of your greatest gifts, the gift of free will. In the vast realms of mind, you are unlimited. Like a television tuner, you can use your mind to focus on any reality you wish to experience. You can take entire vacations in your mind, thus drawing that sort of relaxation to you in your body and life. You can imagine people to be their best, or their worst, and your experience of them will vary depending on your focus. You can imagine something is good for you, and it will be, or you can fear it, and thus render it incompatible with you. You can use your minds consciously as a tool for creation, or you can allow your unconscious programs to use you. When you are not happy, you can safely assume that there is a conditioned program running you, a belief, or idea that is using you to perpetuate its reality. When you are happy, your soul is in charge. You are aligned with love, focusing on a beautiful experience of life. It is your soul's essential nature to see the love available in each moment. You look at the world, and you feel good when you see people doing good, rescuing animals, helping others, creating beautiful music, or art. It uplifts you, and inspires you. It touches, and draws forth the spirit of love within you. Yet, how many millions unconsciously flip on the television, and sit in front of shows that make them feel angry, upset, fearful, or miserable? This is not natural. It is conditioned. Can you imagine that someone walks up to you, and says, "I will give you a delicious meal, or a terrible meal"? You get to choose. Likewise, life says, "I will give you a delicious experience, or a miserable one." You get to choose what you focus upon. While many of you feel you need to be aware of the dangers of the world outside of you, it is far better to place more emphasis on your inner compass, where divine love guides you to safety, joy, abundance, and all that you seek to experience. Your inner focus is your ultimate protection. While you feel that the outer world can harm you, the truth is that you are designed, not only be alive, but to thrive. You are designed to create, expand, love, and assist one another. It is a time on earth where the energies are so strong, it is imperative to use your mind wisely. What you focus on will seem to come more quickly than ever before. Focus on what you want with joyful anticipation, and you more quickly manifest. Focus on what you don't want, and you'll feel the pain of resisting your soul's true desires. It is your mind, dear ones. It is your life. We love you, and wait to assist you. Ask us to work with you in your sleep. Ask us to help you reprogram yourselves to notice, and seek the good, the beautiful, the more joyful experiences, and people in life. Try shifting your thoughts, one negative thought at a time. Like building muscle, you can train your mind to focus on what is good, and then your lives will reflect that far more purely. Dear ones, your minds are the instruments of your free will. They were never meant to control you, but for centuries you have been at the mercy of human programs. It is only in your time, in this day and age, that there is a movement in human consciousness reminding you that your spirit is in charge of your mind, and that you get to choose with intent the realities you wish to focus upon, and therefore, experience. God bless you. We love you so very much. The Angels. Message from Ann. Hi everyone. I think I've wanted to be a Jedi ever since I watched Star Wars in high school. The idea of one all-pervasive force resonated with my young soul far more than the divisive ideas of my religious upbringing. The idea that mind-controlled matter seemed to trigger a deep memory. Yes, yes, yes. I want that. I was always strong-minded. Stubborn was the word used by both parents and angels. Zealous was a word that showed up on my grade school report card. Tenacious was a comment on my reviews in electrical engineering. When I put my mind to something, I'm determined. I never felt spiritual achievements had to be as hard as they are often represented to be. I never believed it took decades to access God and our inner powers. I believed that maybe we just weren't being taught easier ways. I stumbled on techniques that allowed me to teach people to channel easily. I reverse-engineered the process I used to find self-love, and to get intensely present at will. Every now and then I got so strong-minded that miracles happened. I was in the forest years ago hiking with a friend when I started to break out in poison oak for the first time. He was the actual irritation in my life, but I was not yet ready to admit it. I commanded the itchy bumps to leave, and they went away within 10 minutes. I had a bruise once after falling off a ladder, and told it needed to disappear. It went down. A few years ago I found a golf ball-sized lump in me, and decided that, since Jesus resurrected in 3 days, this would be gone in 3 days. I burnt like fire, and it was 90% gone the first day, then gone forever in 3 days. Once, while hiking, a friend's toe cramped up to the point where she couldn't walk. I humorously pointed a finger at it, and commanded it to relax. We stood there without mouths open, laughing uproariously as the toe meekly dropped back into place. I wish I could say I always have this kind of mental power, but more often than not, I don't have the proper focus and commitment. So, I seek out opportunities to challenge myself to develop it. Year ago, standing on a 25-foot cliff for the first time, I made myself jump into the water below. A voice inside told me I wasn't afraid to die. I was afraid of dying before I lived. It was right. Recently, as most of you have heard, I've been delighted these past few months to face some serious visceral fears, and come out stronger. It started when I stumbled on the Wim Hof method in early January. Wim is a man from the Netherlands who is proving in scientific laboratory studies that mind works over matter. He neutralized endotoxins without ill effect, and taught others to do the same. He recently showed he can use his mind to heat up skin temperature even when hot and cold water are alternatively cycled over it. He hopes to do studies that show his techniques can help those with mental disorders. I love this. I started doing his breathing in January, and felt supercharged, joyful, and more strong-minded than ever. The part of the program I never thought I'd do, let alone enjoy, was the cold exposure. As I mentioned in a prior newsletter, I've frozen to death my past 2 lifetimes. So it was a huge thing for me to turn the cold water on in the shower, do the prescribed method, and find that my mind could reach a point where I was actually able to relax into it instead of having my body freak out as if I was going to die. I was shouting for joy when the fear left. I like the feeling of mind over matter so much that I've been doing a few minutes of cold shower every morning, since mid-January. I've talked to many of you do this too. It is never the most comfortable thing, but as soon as the calm mind takes over, it becomes invigorating. During the last days of our winter here, I decide to stretch myself. I went outside in shorts at night, and tried to meditate 10 minutes without getting cold. Sure enough, after a while I spread back out into the oneness, and forgot I even had a body. I wanted more. 2 weeks ago I went to a Wim Hof method workshop here in Phoenix, where we did the breathing, and a 90-second sit in icy water. Crazy as it sounds, I was actually excited about it. A wonderful female athlete, and I were the first in line to get in the ice. Against my conscious will I felt my adrenaline spike. Surprisingly, my heart started pounding as I entered the water. It slammed into my chest like a hammer the first few seconds in, as my body started going through its pre-programmed response, screaming at me to get out. I immediately focused on slow deep breaths, turned off my mind, dropped into my heart, and relaxed. Within seconds, I was transported into a beautiful and blissful space. I could still feel the burning sting of the ice on my skin, but it couldn't touch the presence within. I felt like my spirit had withdrawn deep within the body, and was sitting in a very euphoric state. I wasn't aware of anyone else around me. It was pure peace, and it was amazingly empowering. I felt free. Free from fear. Free from being ruled by physical conditions. Free from the crazy mind going into fight or flight when I was really safe. It was such a beautiful feeling. I felt so good I wanted another dip in the cold, this time out in nature. The very next day I went up north. It was a 45 degrees outside, and about 40 in the water, which is cold to us here in the desert. As I walked into the creek, I felt the now familiar burning sting of the cold assault my senses. The chilly water that used to engender panic was now welcoming me in a baptism of faith over fear. Faith in my body's natural ability. Faith in my own knowing about when enough was enough. Faith that conscious mind was stronger than my unconscious programs. Big faith in the free will choice to call forth the power that lives within me to be warmer than the outer influences that can't choose who, or what they will be. As I stood up to my neck in the flowing, emerald, spring-fed waters, I was mesmerized. Breathing slowly and deeply, the painful sting soon disappeared, and I felt calm and alive. Water flowed gently around me. Sunlight sparkled off the surface of the water, casting 1,000 diamond-like glitters in every direction. I was no longer separate from the scenery. I dissolved into everything. A symphony of brilliant and beautiful color danced around me: red rocks, azure sky, blinding white sparkles, deep green waters, spring green grasses, a rainbow of tumbled rocks. The waters gurgled, and whispered, and rushed past me, singing to my soul. Someone shouted to ask me how the water was, breaking my reverie. I gave a thumbs up as I returned to my Ann self, and realized it was time to get out. A warm towel waited on the rocks, and I slipped into the oneness again in meditation as I continued to breathe, and thaw out gently in the sunshine. There are people doing far more than I am with cold exposure, but for me this was a victory. I've had many mystical experiences, but not while fully in the body. Each of us has those things we fear. It may be speaking our minds, getting in the cold, learning something we want to, but are afraid we can't. Our fears can seem large, but compared to the power within, they are small. Whatever it is that stops you, face it head on. You too will be set free. Here are some pointers to become more powerful than your programs. 1. Find a belief or fear that holds you back. Think of one belief you have that limits you. It might be, I can't lose weight. That's for other people. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough money. No one will support me. I don't know how. And the list goes on. Pick one. If you can't find a limiting belief, try these exercises. Pick one thing you want in your life, but have not yet been able to create. Write down all your beliefs about why you can't have it in the time frame you want. See how they perfectly create the reality you have now. Pick one that seems limiting. They will sound like very real reasons, but they're beliefs nonetheless. Or ask your soul, "Dear soul, what is a limiting belief I can work on releasing now?" And trust the first answer. The one I recently faced was the outside world, cold, is stronger than what lies inside of me. I am not safe. 2. Question the belief, or fear. Is your belief, or fear absolutely true for everyone? Suppose you say you can't lose weight, or find a relationship you like. Doesn't that just mean you haven't yet accomplished the desire? What if you say you're too old to do something? There are 90-year-olds surfing, and going to college. Question your belief. Seek evidence that it is not true for everyone. Seek inspiration of those who have gone beyond it. Don't settle for "I can't." They can. The power within you is the power within all. If someone else did what you want to do, or overcame what you want to overcome, that power lives in you too. What is inside of you is a greater force than any obstacles in your mind, or life. Call it forth. Dear Divine Source, help me lose weight. Dear Divine Source, help me learn this skill I want. Dear Divine Source, dear angels, work on me in my sleep to rewire my old programs. You are so much more than you think. Change your belief to, if someone else can, it is possible for me too. 3. See how others have overcome this limiting belief, or fear. Seek help. If a belief is deeply stuck, you may need a reprogramming technology like hypnosis, or EMDR to help you get past it. You may opt for methods like the ones I've chosen. You may simply, as I've done with some beliefs in the past, post signs to the contrary all over your home and car until you start to believe in the new program. You can seek out role models, therapists, healers, and books, or stories online to inspire. Feed your mind as much information as you can that is consistent with your new desire program. For example, before I got in Eyes for 90 Seconds, I read books, stories, watched YouTube videos, etc., just to prepare my mind. I reminded myself that the divine within me was warm and loving. This gave me the confidence to face the old fears. When I first filmed my show, I was not at all confident I could work in front of a camera, so I read and watched everything I could. I reminded myself that the divine within others had done this. I imagined I was good at it, and I'd get there. I practiced long hours too, but it was the mental work that got me where I wanted to be. When I was starting out as a psychic, and scared about finances, I put up signs all over the house. God is my source and supply. You live in an abundant universe. I read books about manifesting. I gave thanks for all the good I had. Slowly my belief and my reality shifted. Whatever belief you want to shift, you can count on the fact that there are others who have gone before you. Seek out their work, or their words, and learn from their experiences until your mind believes it is possible for you. It is freeing beyond words to overcome an old program, or face an old fear. Go forward, and do it kindly. Get help, if you need. You can do it. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, what lies behind us, and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. And when we bring what is within us out into the world, miracles happen. Truth. Love you all. Ann.